स्केल्स, कॉर्ड्स, आर्पेजियोस, कॉर्ड स्केल्स के बीच में एक वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग सिम्बायोटिक रिलेशनशिप है. इस लेसन में हम आर्पेजियोस पे फोकस करेंगे. आर्पेजियोस आर वंडरफुल एट आउटलाइनिंग द अंडरलाइन हार्मनी ऑफ the tune or the song that you're playing. In this lesson, we're going to focus on how to play arpeggios over a song, a tune, and also change arpeggios as chords change. We're going to focus on major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, and minor 7 flat 5 arpeggios, and we're going to try and sing them. We're going to learn them in 1 octave and 2 octave shapes that we can move around and explore them in 2 positions on the neck, over here and over here. We're going to learn how to ascend and descend and alternate arpeggios. And finally, हम chromaticism को introduce करेंगे. How do we add chromatic notes to our arpeggios to make longer lines and get that jazz flavor in our playing. So let's dive in and have some fun. If you haven't already, please do check out the lesson on building 7th chords and on parallel modes, because that will make this lesson much easier to understand. अगर आपने पहले subscribe नहीं किया है, then please do subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of fun creating these lessons. और अगर आपके पास कोई feedback or you have any suggestions or just comments, please write to us or write to me at karan@goajazzacademy.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's have some fun. The basic idea is that if we take a scale, let's say the C major scale, which has 7 notes, C, root, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. If I take the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th, and I play them all together, I get a C major 7th chord. If I take each one of those notes separately, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, root, 3, 5, 7, that's an arpeggio. What's interesting is that I can fill in the notes between the arpeggio if I'm playing it in time and get a scale back again. So let's take the C major 7 arpeggio and play each note of the arpeggio on a beat, okay? 3, 4. Root, 3, 5, 7. Great. Now isko leke I can actually add notes in between these downbeats as 8th notes and create some kind of a scale. For example, 2, 3, 4. Root, 3, 5, 7, root. So you get some kind of a major scale going. Let's try a more Lydian flavor. 2, 3, 4. Root, 3, 5, 7, root. Here's the interesting thing. The chord gives what we call harmony. Uske baad we have an arpeggio which outlines the harmony. And then using that arpeggio, we can create scale shapes, etc. And if we're smart and we're thinking about the arpeggio while we're playing, we're hitting chord tones on every downbeat, and that gives a very strong sense of the harmony. In this lesson, we're going to practice 4 types of arpeggios: major 7, minor 7 flat 5, and dominant. Major 6th and diminished 7 arpeggios are things you're going to do for homework. So let's dig in and have some fun. So the first thing we want to do is get a sense of what these arpeggios really sound like. So let's try and sing them. So the first one we're going to do is C major. We're going to do all our arpeggios from the same root. So first we have C major 7, right? So the arpeggio is root 3, 5, 7, 7, 5, 3, root. So let's try singing that. I'm going to play the root. We're going to try and sing it. Root 3, 5, 7. 7, 5, 3, root. Good. Now let's try C dominant 7. This would be root 3, 5, flat 7, 5, 3, root. Let's try that again. Root 3, 5, flat 7, 5, 3, root. Let's try C minor 7. So this would be root 3, root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 5, flat 3, root. So let's try that with just the root. Root, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 5, 3, root. Let's try C minor 7, flat 5. So this would be root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, flat 5, flat 3, root. Let's try singing that, just using the root again. Root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, flat 5, flat 3, root. Good. 3rd. I'm sure you can do a better job. And of course we have diminished and major 6th, which we're not going to go into here. ये ear training के लिए भी fundamental है. It's allowing you to get the chord tones of a variety of types of chords into your ear. And it's very important to practice this using the same root, just like we did in the lesson on parallel modes a few lessons before. Arpeggios को बजाने के लिए we have many different options. But ये जो options हैं, they all come from the scale fingerings that we choose based on the chord which is underneath. So for example, if I take A major like this, the most common and simple fingering that we have is. Now if I take the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th, because this is a major chord, I get right? If I take A major, so that's going this direction, okay? I can also play A major like this from the 5th fret, where I have the scale now. So the arpeggio would be. So there are always two directions in which we can choose from any given root. इस lesson के लिए we're going to focus on 6th and 5th string simple drop to parent chord shapes. So our first parent shape is the A major 7 on with the root on the 6th string 5th fret. Then you have A7, which is just flattening the 7th of a major chord, so you get A minor 7 and then A minor 7 flat 5. Similarly, on the 5th string, our root for A major 7 is on the 12th fret, so we have the arpeggio shape as follows: A major 7, A7, A minor 7, A minor 7 flat 5. अब arpeggios को practice करने के लिए, to start using them in the context of music, हम ये जो 1 octave or 2 octave shapes जो अभी practice करेंगे, we're going to play them over a tune. I've selected a song called Blue, or the chords to a song called Blue Bossa. ये काफ़ी common jazz tune है. It's called on a lot of jam sessions, and it's interesting क्योंकि इसमें major 2/5s and minor 2/5/1s भी हैं. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, we'll do a separate lesson on it. But basically इसमें काफ़ी qualities जो हमने पहले discuss किए हैं, ये इस tune में, इस chord progression में included हैं. पहले हम अपने arpeggios इस region of the neck पे practice करेंगे. So we're going to take our first chord C minor and the following chords close to the C minor on this position. Okay. And what we have to start getting used to is seeing a chord and the arpeggio and eventually the scale around the chord position. So let's play through the tune once. जो voicings मैंने अभी use किए हैं, these are very standard common jazz voicings, nothing fancy. C minor 7 on the 8th fret, F minor 7 again on the 8th fret 5th string, D minor 7 flat 5 on the 10th fret 6th string, G7, यहाँ जो flat 9 है, we're going to ignore that, again just a G7 on the 5th string on the 10th fret, and then back to C minor 7. This is the first 8 bars. जो next 4 bars के लिए we're going to E flat minor 7, again just a standard drop 2 voicing, then A flat 7 on the 11th fret, and then D flat major, again as drop 2 voicing. All drop 2 voicings, very easy to play, and then D minor 7 flat 5, G7, and then C minor, and that ends the whole tune. So now the idea is, can we start seeing arpeggios around these chord shapes? So let's play through the tune again using just 1 octave arpeggios, 7th arpeggios. हर chord के साथ now we can associate a 1 octave arpeggio. So the first C minor 7 lasts for 2 bars, so it would go like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. F minor 7: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now D minor 7 and G7 last for 1 bar each, so it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But where we had a chord last for 2 bars, we can easily return to the root. But where we have a chord lasting for 1 bar, it would be, we actually only have enough time to get to the flat third if we start from the root and ascend and descend. So it would be root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, root, flat 7, flat 5, flat 3. Similarly for G7, root 3, 5, flat 7, root, flat 7, 5, 3. And then back to C minor for 2 bars. Now for E flat minor 7 and A flat 7, again 1 bar each. So but D flat major 7 for 2 bars, ends on the root, and finally we have just D minor 7, G7 on the third, and then C minor 7. Arpeggios descend करेंगे. So previously we started on the root and then ascended to the root an octave higher. अब हम एक higher octave root से descend करेंगे to the lower root for each chord. Let's give this a shot. So practice that with the backing track slowly and make sure you can do both ascending and descending really well. अब हम arpeggio directions को mix करेंगे. For the first chord C minor 7 we will ascend, then for F minor 7 we will descend, for D minor 7 flat 5 we will ascend, for G7 we will descend, and so on and so forth. Let's see what this sounds like. We're going to be basing our arpeggio shapes on the drop 2 voicing chords that we have already learnt before. These are very simple voicings, and we're trying to visualize longer arpeggio lines based on these chord shapes. So for C minor 7, we're going to ascend from the root to the flat 7 and then back down. So for C minor, for example, हम 2 octaves ascend करेंगे from the root to the flat 7 and then back down. So sounding like this. minor 7 के लिए similar principle. Then for D minor 7 flat 5, G7, and back to C minor 7. For E minor 7 flat 5, which is 1 bar long, A flat 7, and then D flat major 7, and then again back to D minor 7 flat 5, G7, C minor 7. मुझे राइट हैंड के लिए एक दो नोट्स आपको देने हैं. आई एम नॉट स्वीप पिकिंग. इट्स अ मिक्स ऑफ वेल alternate picking and economy picking. For example, मैं first two notes के लिए in the C minor 7 alternate pick कर रहा हूँ. Right, down, up. Then I hit the next string with a downstroke, and then next note with a downstroke because they're adjacent to each other. Then alternate, then two more downstrokes, and then up. So down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And then when I want to descend, down, up, 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 down, up, up, down. Okay? So that's really important. And I'm trying to rest the pick as much as I can, much like in sweep picking, on the string above or below it when I'm going in the same direction. So if I'm going like, okay, I'm actually resting on the string below. So it would sound like this. Okay. This exercise के लिए we're going to move our chord progression, our song, to this area of the neck. So we're going to start with C minor here as opposed to being here. So it's going to be on the 3rd fret, 5th string. So इसके लिए I'm not going to go through the entire exercise again, but I am going to show you. We're just going to do the 1 octave and 2 octave scale shapes ascending, and see what that sounds like. So the chord progression right over here sounds like this. final example we're going to add the concept of chromaticism, or at least start to explore it and add those as embellishments to our arpeggios to sound more jazzy. So if I wanted to add chromatic notes, here's what I would do going from one chord to the next in the first 4-8 bars of the tune. तो essentially जब मैं C minor से F minor 7 जा रहा हूँ, I am on the last 8th note of the first 2 bars. I'm playing E, so it's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, before I go to D minor 7 at the end of the 4th bar, I'm hitting C sharp. So it's going something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, before I go to G7, which is the next chord, I'm going to hit F sharp. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now back to C minor 7. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So basically I'm adding a chromatic note before I go to the new chord. Upper chromatics के साथ भी खेल सकते हैं. Let's take the section that goes from E flat minor 7 to A flat 7 to D flat major 7, 2 5 1 in the key of D. अब इसमें हम transitions upper chromatic के साथ करेंगे. This is what that would sound like. 1 2 3 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now for the and of 4, I can put an A, which is an upper chromatic, to A flat major 7, the arpeggio, right? So it would sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, मैं यहाँ C पे पहुँच गया and I need to go to D flat. Now I can add an upper chromatic, which is D, and then it almost encloses my target note, which is D flat coming up. So this is called an enclosure. It's a very common jazz technique wherein you enclose a target note of an arpeggio from above and below. So it's very simple. All we had to do was stick to the principle of going to the next chord from a chromatic note above. This is what that sounds like. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please email me at karan@goa-jazz-academy, and make sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. It's just at Goa Jazz Academy. Have a great evening, day, or afternoon, or morning, wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.